Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Roman Kopylov versus Josh Fremd. Kopylov is 32 years old, 11-2 as a pro, and he's given up 4 inches of height and 1 inch of reach to 29-year-old Fremd, who is 11-4 as a pro. Kopylov, he's a kickboxer and an excellent kickboxer. He's got 10 TKOs and his 11 wins, the other by decision. And of those 10 TKOs, I don't know the numbers, but I'd be surprised if even 4 of them were in round 1. The majority of his finishes come later in the fight. Roman Kopylov. He's a guy that carries his power in both his hands and his legs deep into the fight, and he's got really good cardio and a great work rate to back up that power. He's got multiple finishes, 2 finishes in round 4, multiple in round 3, and a few in round 2 as well, 2 of which we've seen in the UFC. In the UFC, he knocked out Sean Soriano in round 2, Alessio Di Chirico in round 3, and Claudio Ribeiro in round 2. And we've seen great kickboxing from him. That head kick on Claudio Ribeiro, the body kicks working Sean Soriano. He's just an excellent kickboxer at range, and if you can't wrangle this guy to the ground, you're probably outgunned. He has a beautiful round 4 knockout with a body punch, a straight right to the body over this guy Enomoto, who's pretty durable. Kopylov is just, he's a problem unless you can rip him to the mat pretty much. He has 2 losses, one via submission, one via decision. The decision comes to Albert Duraev. Duraev beat him in the UFC and beat the shit out of him in round 2. Had a lot of success and came really close to finishing it. But Kopylov survived and then was the one taking the fight to Duraev largely in round 3, which showed a lot about him as a fighter, but still, he showed a lot defensively that he needed to work on there. He's vulnerable on the ground. And that's also how he lost his other fight to Carl Roberson. That was a round 3 rear naked choke, even though Roberson was hanging with him, to say the least, with the kickboxing. Really, that was a battle of good leg kicks. But Carl Roberson's a uniquely dangerous guy, a lot of vulnerabilities himself, but still, a guy that was able to match Roman on the feet. I don't think too many fighters can, though, and I don't think Josh Fremd can. I think if he's caught kickboxing with Roman Kopylov, where the wrestling is taken off the table, Kopylov wins this fight, and it's probably via finish. Josh Fremd's been finished twice, only once via knockout, and it was the Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop, who is Mike Tyson, so no shame there, but still, it did happen. He was also submitted once to Tresean Gore. Tresean is still really getting going, but we don't know his ceiling yet, so it might not be too much shame there. And his 2 decision losses come to this guy, Robert Gidron and Fluffy Hernandez, which I think was his UFC debut. Fluffy Hernandez was just a bad matchup for Josh Fremd, relentless wrestler and grappler, and Josh Fremd was able to hang with him and make it a really exciting fight, and I thought he even took round 2, and I think he took that fight on short notice, but in the end, he was just largely out-grappled, and he was outpointed. Fremd, offensively, he's got 8 finishes and his 11 wins, 4 via knockout, 4 via submission. He's a well-rounded guy. We've seen him get the guillotine over SD Dumas a few months ago. And his 4 knockouts, he's got 3 of them in the LFA. And they were all in round 1, 2 former Contender Series guys. So Josh Fremd's hands are starting to get more respect. And I'm sure they're sharpening as his career moves forward. But still, despite the hands getting sharper and the fact that he's got height and reach, I think he's outgunned on the feet here against Roman Kopylov. I think Josh Fremd has to rip Kopylov to the mat. Josh Fremd is a good wrestler. He's a really good wrestler, and I think he is capable of out-wrestling Roman Kopylov, but I don't envision him doing it for all 15 minutes. And Josh Fremd, he's a gigantic guy. He's not halfway to a takedown like most wrestlers by being so short. Not that he's bad with his takedowns, but he is going to be coming from the outside, and I think it'll be a little easier to stop for Roman Kopylov. I think Josh Fremd, if he finds himself having trouble getting into Roman Kopylov, he's going to have to try to go through him via the clinch and maybe use some of that leverage to find a different way to take him down. And he could get it done, Josh Fremd. I'd really like to see it happen, to be honest, but I'm picking against him here. I'm picking Roman Kopylov to make this a kickboxing bout, and once it's been settled that it's a kickboxing bout, I'm picking him to get a finish. And yeah, I think it'll happen in the second half of the fight. That's the prediction. Roman Kopylov by finish. I looked at the prop bets. There's nothing spectacular there. I think they have him figured out, Roman Kopylov. So I'm not betting on that. I'm probably going to get drunk and bet on Josh Fremd. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.